Kill the Boer. Kill the Farmer is a controversial South African struggle song that originated during the anti-apartheid era and was historically used by liberation movements, including the African National Congress, ANC, as a rallying cry against the oppressive apartheid government. The song, which includes lyrics referencing the killing of Boers, a term historically associated with white Afrikaans-speaking farmers, was meant to symbolize resistance rather than incite actual violence. However, in post-apartheid South Africa, its continued use, especially by political figures like Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, has sparked intense debates over hate speech, historical context, and racial tensions. While some view it as a significant part of the country's liberation history, others see it as inflammatory and dangerous, particularly amid concerns over farm attacks and racial violence. The song has been the subject of court cases, with rulings sometimes banning and at other times permitting its singing, reflecting the ongoing struggle over how South Africa reconciles its painful past with its democratic present.
Where were you when I'm treated? Where were you when I'm dreamt? So fast kitchen, emoye, so fast kitchen, etati, kichima, Sipram Konto, Alliance, shoot to kill, Yamasa, kill the poor, the farmer, kill the poor, the farmer, brr, pa, brr, pa, tension.
Behind me is the head office of the EFF. Julius Malema, you must be so proud now that you have burned South Africa, rule over the ashes. President Donald Trump have taken notice of your song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, to the extent that he now wants to give refugee status to the Afrikaner farmer community. This means no more food security, and also the aid that America has given us up until now for HIV/AIDS treatment. The deaths of those people who are now dying of infection and HIV/AIDS, that is on your conscience. Julius Malema, you have burned down South Africa.
Kill the Boer. Julius Malema leading 100,000 people to sing Kill the Boer at the EFF birthday party this week created probably the most inflamed, divisive scandal in South Africa in years. And South Africans have been hurling opinions and insults at each other. But I'm not going to do that, because this fight has actually got me really twisted. To be honest, I found a lot of the arguments people have made this week convincing, even if they're from different sides and they contradict each other. So I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to give all of the big arguments in what I think are their strongest forms. Because I think this fight is so personal and so meaningful and so important to so many millions of South Africans that we really all need to hear everything. The song Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer is an old struggle song that was particularly championed by legendary activist Peter Mokaba. And those are the lyrics. Kill the Boer, kill the farmer. There's even a call and response moment to make the sound of machine guns. And as a struggle song, it makes perfect sense during the armed struggle against the Afrikaner apartheid government, where horrific, evil, terrible things were done for decades and decades to black people by white rulers. So just this weekend in 2023, 100,000 people sang Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer. Now imagine 100,000 people chanting Kill You. Maybe you're an Afrikaner, maybe you self-identify as a Boer, maybe you're a farmer, or maybe you just know that people would consider you that, so you feel targeted by this song. You can understand why you'd feel upset, especially because 100,000 people is so many people. Very rarely ever do 100,000 people gather for any reason. And we absolutely know that anything repeated enough times by people of influence has an influence over people. And so people fearing that the song Kill the Boer will turn from a slogan into action is an understandable worry. But this song is not new. People like Julius Malema and Peter Mokaba have been championing this song for decades. Thabo Mbeki was defending this song as far back as the 80s and the 90s, on the record. So if this song has been interpreted by black South Africans to mean literally go out and kill Boers, Why hasn't it happened already? And we've heard a lot of claims in the last 10 years that white farmers are being murdered in racial attacks and they are being targeted en masse and that there's a genocide coming. But that isn't true. 2018, murders of farmers in South Africa was at a 20-year low. In 2020, there were 21,325 murders in South Africa and only 49 were white farmers. So however hard this man tries to spin the narrative that white farmers are under attack in a desperate attempt to win back votes for the DA from the Freedom Front Plus, it's just not happening. People have been singing the song for decades, and there's no evidence that there have been mass racially motivated attacks against white farmers. Now, it is terrible that white farmers have been killed, but it's terrible that everybody has been killed. And white farmers aren't being killed on average more than all other South Africans. And if you want to talk about common racial attacks, I think you'll find that there are way more stories of white farmers abusing black laborers than the other way around. I'm recording in August 2023 where there's literally no evidence that this song is inciting attacks. Now, of course, if that changes, different discussion. The reason why people are so scared of farm killings and of black people rising up to kill white people en masse is because of Swart Gevaar. The apartheid government trained white people to think black people were terrifying savages. Whether conscious or unconscious, that apartheid created fear is still deep baked into the psyches of many white communities. So what might the reason be why this song isn't at the moment causing people to go out and attack white farmers? Well, Julius Malema's defense now is the same that Peter Mokaba's was and Thabo Mbeki's. Peter Mokaba was very clear that it was not a song of instruction. It was a song of struggle about rallying to fight the enemy, the oppressor. So during apartheid, it was the Boers, it was the farmer. Thabo Mbeki also said it was never a policy position of the ANC. It's a song of struggle against an enemy. And the enemy could be anyone. Could be white supremacy, it could be the ANC, which Julius Malema literally said at this rally. That's the response argument, that it's a song of struggle that doesn't have a literal instruction. And people fully understand that. And this is the reasoning that the Equality Court accepted in 2022. But it's not that simple, because in 2011, a different judge in a different court said that it was hate speech. And the Supreme Court of Appeal is set to make a final ruling soon. But whether it's against the law or not, is it good? Is it good for South Africa? Many people have argued, no, obviously not. When you're singing about killing other people in your country, it causes terror and division and fear. Even if it doesn't lead to, in this case, attacks on Boers, it causes damage to our society. But in response, many people have said, but this song really matters to us. It's personal. It's a struggle song. Why should we stop singing it because you, the former oppressor, misunderstand it, don't understand it the way that we do, and it makes you feel uncomfortable? And that's the same response people often give to, oh, but why don't you just sing a different struggle song? There are many struggle songs. And that's true. There are many struggle songs that could be sung that mean a lot to people. But that's exactly where I think we need to acknowledge some hard truths about this week. This ruckus is working in all the politicians' favor. It's deeply useful. Like him or loathe him, Julius Malema is an absolutely world-class politician. He is incredible at making himself the center of attention, making the whole world talk about him at will. And the way that you become relevant, become popular, get the attention of people and get their votes is to be talked about all the time. So I don't know whether this song truly means a lot to him. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But what I do know is this song is incredibly effective for his political aspirations. Always has been. It's good for this man too. He gets to try and be the champion fighting the evil and terrifying Julius Malema. He gets to pull ridiculous stunts like complaining to the UN. So, am I being cancelled?
That each time we want to be ourselves, each time we want to sing our songs, we must ask the media to leave. But that is not our policy. So the right wing has been right wing and racist all the time. It is not the slogan. Maybe the problem is that, as you are saying, it is the English version of what we usually chant in our own language. And we are actually saying that it is correct to be chanted in our own language and not be in English in any way. I don't think that is correct. Because, as it has been pointed out by the comrades here, it is not an elaboration of new policy. It is not a song by an individual. It is not a chant that developed out of a conference. This is the chant that was there in the ANC camps. It is a chant that is there that helped us to organize and to rally our people together and to maintain our solidarity. It's part of the black culture in the first place. That before, after any struggle, victory, in order to express their fears, they use poetry, they use speeches, they use songs, and so on. It does not change in any way the policy of the ANC. And I'm saying to your question that it is not going to be possible for us to change our songs and chants because the press is available, is there. Because it is not the first time that they chant with us. We have gone to Sebukeng, we have gone to Patong, there has been...
The song speaks to the anger that many people feel about the fact that their lives have not transformed. And the argument is that they're not talking about killing an individual white farmer. They're talking about the fact that the system of oppression is still with them, that political freedom hasn't led to economic, housing, social, sewage freedom. And so it's a cry for the system to be killed so that economic freedom comes into their lives.
You see, language, John,
Yeah.
is first used socially by people before it is defined in courts of law. So if I hear the word kill the farmer, kill the Boer, it definitely means that. It can't mean anything else. Now, it's one thing for a court of law to define the contours and the realm of interpretation that can be used in order to determine when it is offensive and whether it can incite people to violence. Things that are permissible are not necessarily beneficial. It may be legally permissible, but politically it's not right that people continue to use this divisive language.
The United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio has upset South Africans when he decided to weigh in into the Kill the Boer chant by the EFF president Julius Malema. On the 21st of March 2025, which happens to be South African Human Rights Day, Julius Malema actually chanted the Kill the Boer chant, and the United States Secretary of State had this to post on Twitter, and I quote, "Kill the Boer is a chant that incites violence. South Africa's leader and politicians must take action to protect Afrikaner and other disfavored minorities. The United States is proud to offer those individuals who qualify for admission to our nation amid these continued horrible threats of violence." This didn't sit so well with South Africans as they had to drag him to the Pope. This comes after the President of the United States of America, His Excellency President Donald Trump, came up with an executive order granting Afrikaners refugee status in the USA. Now, what do you think about this, guys? Because, it is a much going on between the US and South Africa.
There's a group of people on social media in South Africa who demonstrate closed mindsets and inability to handle differences. These people, if you say something that's different to what they believe, they will yell insults at you, they will call you names, they will say there's something wrong fundamentally with your personality, because they are growing up in organizational cultures wherein cult-like leaders are followed willy-nilly, and people who differ with the official line get ostracized. So this is something that is really concerning for a country, because once you become so arrogant as a people that you are not open to learning, you are not open to differing opinions, what that does is that it creates an army of yes men and women who will not even be able to kind of share the information that would save the party. I wrote an article some time ago that the EFF was successful in building a political brand outside of the ANC, and that it was making a mistake for when it started courting RET political leaders. And I wrote this article to say, if they do this, they are going to do one of two things. They may be successful, they woo all the RET leaders and maybe get 3 to 4% in an election, but soon thereafter they will lose their own organization, because these people would bring their own cultures into the organization and internal organizational stability would be threatened. I was so happy to hear Mbuyiseni Ndlozi one of these days saying that he actually warned against cozying up to former President Jacob Zuma and was feeling vindicated that the EFF, well, I guess not vindicated, but he said that notwithstanding his warnings, the leadership shunned him and went on and now had to face a significant electoral loss. So when you shun alternative views, that's what happens. That's what happens. We have to create a culture in South Africa in which we can differ and respect that we are all attempting to do the same thing of creating a stable country that is united. Now, the tweet that got me in a little bit of hot water is me saying Kali Kriel and Julius Malema validate each other's politics, because the one needs the existence of the other in order for them to feel that their cause is justified. And I stand by that view. We need to learn that extremists, validate each other.
Who allowed whites to undermine us like that. You think we can listen to people like him?
Psst. Hey, Malema. Jy praat kak hoor. You're talking shit. You allowed the ANC to undermine South African people. Now you want to make it the white people's fault. And then you go and sing the killing song again and expect people to ignore it. But no, you know what? I think you want attention. That's all you want. You want fucking attention. Nah? But the thing is, if you get the wrong attention, you don't want that. But you're too stupid to know that you don't want that. And you know what? I heard you beefed up your security. Listen, if the USA wants you dead, not one security company in this whole fucking South Africa will be able to help you. Just for FYI, the black African people have never been in a world war. Never in the history of mankind. You have no fucking idea what you're messing with. And we don't have any means to protect ourselves because you fucking destroyed everything. So now you want to make everybody angry. And you know what you get for that? Consequences. And you know what consequences is? Nah, I don't think you have one motherfucking clue. And you won't be able to fight a war. You, Anna, is stick figure. You cannot fight fuck all. You will be the first one to run and jump the fence, yeah. That's what you're gonna do. But you're not gonna fight. You! Ek kan harder klap as jy, jou dom poepel. But listen, Jenna, you fucking fighting the wrong game. Nobody's believing you. And you're just making everything worse for yourself. So beef up your security, ne? Beef it up. If the United States want you dead, they will get you fucking dead. You don't have one clue who you're messing with. And black people have never fought a world war. Never. In the whole of history. I don't think you know what you're fucking getting yourselves into. This is not prpa and terrorism, all that shit. This is like they send drones and they fuck you up. We don't have one fucking drone under our sky that can defend you. Okay, so you're pissing against the lion's leg and thinking that you are big men. You are big men. You have no bloody idea what you're dealing with. And nobody's scared of you. Fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot.